possible that normally like us all algebra teachers are on the same pace, but it's very possible that we're not right now because I had to rearrange my pace because I'm not going to be here Friday. And that lesson that would have been on Friday is like requiring a lot of guidance. Really, today's and tomorrow's lesson requires a lot of guidance, but I made Friday's lesson, put it away, something easier that my algebra students could learn on their own. So if you're my algebra student, like, yeah, you have a lesson to do yourself on Friday, watch the video. It's still me explaining it, but like, watch the video, bring headphones that plug in your Chromebook so you can listen to it, take your notes on your paper, submit it, and do your practice. In here, I'll show you what your thing says because since we're all out of pace, probably, I mean, I don't know if your teachers changed their pace just because I changed mine, probably not. But for math lab, like there's the sub instructions, okay? You guys mostly do the work that we do in algebra, whatever it is. So like I have in Schoology, and they'll read it to you too, the list of all the things you're supposed to get done by the end of this week, including all the lesson practices and including resubmitting that maze. Was anyone not here on Monday? So this maze is only over 2-step equations, so not very hard. We learned how to do multi-step equations this week, so that's just a small step in a set of bigger steps. Pay attention. Shh. It's up here. So whatever your teacher does that day is what I expect you to be doing in algebra, because the rest should hopefully already be done. But otherwise, you have this to-do list of all the things that need to be at 80% or higher, and including the maze you turned in, like your resubmission grade. I wrote down what you guys scored initially. I gave that back to you. There's still a couple, like some of you weren't here yesterday that I need to give back. But I'm not putting that score in until after Friday. So I'm giving you the rest of the week whenever you have free time to work on your maze. And then I'll put in your new score, whatever, higher after that. And it's a project grade. And it's only our second project grade. So it's like 5% of your overall grade, or actually 10% of your overall grade. So really important that you resubmit that if you want higher than what you got. But do you guys understand what to do on sub day? Make sure this is all done. I do include in the instructions, like leave me a list of students who are using the hour as free time so I can verify they had everything done. And if they don't, and they were on that list of using the hour as free time, I do contact home. Because that's your primary thing, is to get your algebra stuff done. There's no reason, ladies, make sure we're paying attention. There's no reason that if you're spending an hour in algebra and an hour in math lab focusing on the same thing, that they're still not done. Okay. So there's that. So today, the lesson that we did, which might be different from what your teachers did, is 8 and 9, which is basically rearranging equations. That's the skill we were trying to accomplish. It was kind of hard because people were getting worked up about them making the equation and stuff. That wasn't the skill we were trying to accomplish today. It was just, can you solve for a variable in particular when there's multiple variables going on? So because some of you didn't have that lesson, we are going to do a Kahoot so that we are warmed up and ready. And you're going to take notes as you go so that it can be an assessment grade. So when we say solve for something, we want that something isolated. So normally there's numbers and it's just the only variable and we're trying to solve it. Now it's all variables or there's more than one variable. That makes it kind of like impossible to get that C equals a number. So really all you're doing is rearranging it. It's still the same steps as if there were numbers. So like, look at what's happening to the C. How would I get rid of that minus S? Good. Like you, yep, the S, yeah.
You add M.
And whatever you do on one side. And that is why this is the answer, because that gets the C alone, and on the left side is just M plus S. Like you can't get C is this number because these are not numbers, these are letters. So you get C is this expression. Any questions? Okay, now listen. When it says on your practice, solve it so that it's easy to solve for C, what they really mean is get the C alone. So that's what you do. Look at what's being done and then do the opposite. Now solve for M. That's as big as it'll go. Sorry. Solve for M. And E equals MC squared.
I don't want to go.
And you guys have a lot of time, so you have time to. So we're solving for M. They have to tell you what you're solving for. And look at everything that's being done to the M. There's only one other thing, it's the C squared. You can get rid of that in one step. When things are smushed together, what operation is implied? What's opposite of multiplying? So that's why we're dividing both sides by C squared. Just in one step. And then that's all you really can do. Order does matter in division. So if I have to divide by C squared, then it needs to be in the denominator. Questions on that?
No. I'll put it in the neighborhood.
Okay, we're gonna go to the next one.
What?
All right, solve for M. I love this formula.
Easy.
Wait. Good with the accuracy. Now, right now it's being divided by V. So I'm trying to isolate the M. What would be opposite divided by V? Whatever you do on one side.
Yeah, the other.
And that cancels out. They switched the order here. I don't really know why. Maybe because it's capital and they got the capital first. Order doesn't really matter in multiple cases. V times V, V times V, same thing. Questions?
No.
Okay. Remember to take notes as we go. Gonna go to the next one.
No.
Solve for A. Solve for A.
Literally so easy. No, I think the wrong. What? What? I think. No, we all get it wrong. I don't. I agree. It's not. So it's green, right? I didn't think. I think all.
All right, we're isolating A. This time there's more than one thing going on, so a little bit more difficult. But just like if this was a number also, like you treat it the same. Anytime you're isolating something, you always get rid of what is. Yeah. Anytime you're isolating a variable, we're isolating A right now, you always get rid of what is.
Like. Underneath.
Fill in the blank. I've been telling you guys this. When you're solving an equation, you always get rid of what is. That's your hint.
What was that? Start with C.
The hint is. Whenever you're solving and isolating a variable, I tell you to always get rid of what first? The time.
Oh, they're very.
No, okay, how do I know? It doesn't matter if it's a variable or not. How do I know if I get rid of the 100 first or the t first?
Oh, the lowest.
T. And why the t?
Because it's.
That's what I was trying to say. You always get rid of what is farthest from the variable.
So stupid.
Now listen. The 100 is smushed up against the A, so that's technically closer. This is separated by this fraction bar, so in that case, the t is farther. Opposite of dividing by t would be multiplying by t, whatever you do on one side. Which is why it's p times t. They like to reverse the order. T times p is the same thing. Equal to 100 times a. It's still not isolated. We have to keep going. What's opposite of multiplying by 100?
Divide by.
So that's what we're doing next. And you can't really do much more than that. You just rewrite it. Questions? Please. Okay, Lila, can you do the link now? Oh, okay. Okay. All right. So I see some people still writing. I'm gonna switch it in 10 seconds. Yeah, it's another month here.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
What the?
All right. Ion, what's farther from the M? What's farther from the M, the V squared or the 2? Like physically, what is farther from the M? Do you have an answer? Oh, I didn't hear you. Okay, so then that determines what we get rid of first. And how we get rid of it is determined by how we cancel it out. How do you cancel the denominator to any fraction? Multiply by the denominator. Whatever you do on one side. So then this cancels out the denominator. On the left, I have 2 times k equal to mv squared. We're not finished because the m is not fully isolated yet. So I need to get rid of the v squared. The v squared is like its own, like you're not going to get rid of the 2 and then the v like. Gracie, how do I get rid of the times v squared? Do you see a plus sign in between them? Okay, good. So when there's no symbol in between, multiplication is implied. To undo multiplication, we divide. That's why we're dividing. If it wanted you to add, it would have had the plus sign, you know, so that's why I said that. So whatever you do on one side of the equal sign,
Do the other one.
so that will cancel out the v squared on the right side. On the left side, there's nothing we could simplify. Sometimes there's some things we could reduce. Like, I don't know, if this was 2v squared, then maybe I cancel out the 2's. But I can't, so that's all we have. So, and the one that matches that exactly is yellow. Question. Moving on. Sorry, I think some people were writing. Write a little faster. Yes. Okay, next one. Okay, solve for H. It's the same thing. Don't get tripped up now just because there's other stuff. Do not get intimidated. It's still the same process. What's farthest from the H aside from the V? We don't care about the V because it's already on the other side of the equal sign. So what's farthest from the H? Lila, can you tell me? Farthest from the H. There's none. Okay. Here's the H. What's farthest from it, but on the same side of the equal sign? The R is closer than the other two things. Hey, can I? Yes. You got so of this stuff, what's farther from the H? That's closer, I think. The 1/3, yes. The 1/3 is farthest. We're gonna get rid of that first. Class, how do I get rid of? I don't like the multiplying by a fraction.
Divide.
You could divide by that fraction, you could, or you could multiply by the. And I think multiplying by the reciprocal would be easier, but you can't actually divide this by. Yeah. In this one, so listen, keep listening. B is not a number that I can just put in my calculator and divide by 1/3. So that's why the multiplying by the reciprocal will be better. Because what's the reciprocal of 1/3? And that I can multiply by B. What's 3 times B? 3B, and then it's divided by 1, which is still 3B, right? I'm gonna write it over here. That gets rid of this fraction. And on the right, I have the pi r squared times h. So whatever little symbol they use, like maybe you're not familiar with pi, maybe you are, it doesn't matter. It's smushed all together, so what operation is applied? It's all being multiplied. This is being squared, but it didn't ask us to isolate r, it asked us to isolate h. So I have to just get rid of the pi and the r squared by doing the opposite of multiplying, which is, and I'm going to do it in the same step because again, this isn't like all a number that I could just divide by and get an answer. All I can do is rewrite it. So this will cancel out to 1, this will cancel out to 1. All I have is the h, and on the left, all I can do is rewrite it. And go to the next one. So again, stick yours.
Oh, wait. You don't want the oil.
No. I can't watch the game. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah. Read the video in place.
Yeah.
Okay. Solve for B.
Oh, it's in here, not it.
For B.
See.
Wait.
And you said like. Wait, I think I got them. Go ahead. No.
Elena, what's farthest from the B, the C or the D? You're not Elena. Okay, so Elena, I'll have to ask you something different. If I'm getting rid of the D, Elena, what would I do to cancel it out? You would multiply by it, because that's how you cancel out the denominator to any fraction, is you multiply by it. Class, whatever you do on one side. And I will say, if you're confused by the answers, they do like to put things in alphabetical order whenever they can. So that's why they made it AD. I'll put it over here. Equal to B plus C. B is still not isolated though, so we're not finished. Anne-Marie, what's going on with the B? What's happening to it? It's being added by C. What's opposite of adding by C? So that's what we're going to do, whatever we do on one side. And whatever you're doing, I didn't mean to write that. Oops. Whatever you're writing second, just like here in the red, just put it to the right, like that. Because order does matter, and it should not be C minus AD, it should be AD minus E. Questions? Okay. Is it getting easier? There's probably only a couple left.
Wait. Wait. The big heads up.
Okay, solve for W.
Oh, wait, no.
This is such a good test question. Solve for W.
Is this a trick question? Did I say it right? I mean, sport.
I don't know what you're talking about. Just get the W alone. This was really good test question because it's almost the same setup as something else that we're seeing on the board. We're trying to isolate the W. What is farthest from the W? This too, you might say, but this whole unit, if this is all like one term, we're gonna get rid of it because the only way to get rid of it is together. And that's if I make it 0 plus 2W. You guys follow that?
Yeah.
No, you're not. No, you're not.
Make it up. Tell me that.
The only way I no longer have to write the 2L on the right is if it becomes 0. So think about it that way. How can I make the 2L 0?
Subtract.
Subtract. If you said divide, that would make it 1. And we don't want it to be 1. We want it to be 0. So you're going to subtract it. And whatever you do on one side of the equal sign, you just go into 2. So on the left, it becomes E minus 2L equal to 2W. What's opposite of multiplying by 2? Dividing by 2. Whatever you do on one side. Now listen, this is the same as writing this. And because you actually can do some simplifying, they kind of expect you to. This right here, 2 over 2 cancels out to 1, which is why it just became this, or what did they put for the answer? Yeah, that's why it just became. This looks weird. Unfortunately, I don't really like the way they wrote it. It should be, oh, it's still right though. P over 2 minus L. Like this is what you should have thought of in your brain. All right, questions? Okay, I think we have 1 or 2 more.
Yo, what the? Why did that go so? I go so fast. Wait,
Okay, thank you guys.
You just don't write anything, like anything, so like someone's like, oh, and then it like
Oh my god, it's later. Please don't examine these back. Oh, I really promise. Okay, guys, actually like.
These are not like terms. One of them has a W, the other one has an X. So all I can do is write them next to each other like that, equal to 9y. What is the opposite of multiplying by 9? And this will cancel this out. I have to do it on the other side. I could write it like this and just write that as my answer. Or I can write it like this and have this as my answer. They both mean the same thing. It looks like blue has it with this in the numerator with parentheses around it, so you know to subtract this first before dividing by the 9. Okay? Any questions? Okay. We have one more. So the 8 and 9 practice you'll finish later this week or do on your own time. But I feel like this is more important, so that's why we're doing it. Okay, solve for B. Solve for B.
No, some. It's don't even jump. No, don't even. Okay, so. Yes. No, we're not waiting a whole sentence.
Who is it?
Well, I swear I just need to. Right now.
Bro, who's not answering? Who's not answering?
I don't press it up. Why are you?
Okay. What is farthest from the B and an E? The 2 is farther. The C, listen, friends. The C is in parentheses with the B, so it's technically closer. Okay, that's how you know. So what is the 2 doing? By look at the screen. What's opposite of multiplying by 2?
Divide 2.
Whatever you do on one side. I get A over 2. On the right, I get just B minus C. The parentheses can go away now because there's nothing else on outside of them anymore. And remember, we're solving for B. So how do I get rid of the C? You add it, whatever you do on one side. And this is already like a fraction. So it has to go A over C and then plus, or A over 2 and then plus the C. That is how you properly rearrange it. Questions? Okay. So again, the practice you'll just do either Friday or whatever day. The winners can get a prize.